You're watching Let the Quran Speak. I'm Sophia, your host. Have you ever heard anyone say that the Quran predicted the Big Bang Theory and the origins of life and water? Today, we're going to be looking at a verse that relates to modern science. It's chapter 21, verse 30. With me is Dr. Shabir. Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
I'm going to read the verse to you, Dr. Shabir. We're going to look at what it means, what early commentators thought it meant, and what we can understand from it today. So the verse goes like this in English. Do the believers not realize that the heavens and earth were once one mass? Then we split them apart, and we created from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? This is the Study Quran translation of chapter 21, verse 30, Dr. Shabir. So tell me what it means and how the early commentators understood it.
Yeah. So let's take the first part, because one part is about the heavens and the earth being one, and the other is about creating everything from water, every living thing. So about the heavens and the earth being of one piece, today this might be interpreted from a scientific angle to say that we know from the Big Bang Theory that everything, the entire universe, was packed into what scientists project back as a singularity. So 13.8 billion years ago, that an expansion began from that singularity into eventually what we have as the galaxies with their stars and planets, including our planet Earth and human beings emerging on planet Earth. So the heavens and the earth together were eventually one. They were a singularity, and so that's one aspect of this verse. The other one is about creating every living thing from water. Today we know about the aquatic origins of life on Earth, and we know the essential nature of water, and even for our continued existence. Most of our body is like liquid as opposed to flesh or hard stuff. So for this to be said in the Quran some 1,400 years ago, naturally it was bewildering to the earliest commentators. They could not understand this from our scientific hindsight. They with their pre-scientific views, they tried their best to explicate the Quran. And often, Sophia, they said that this means that perhaps it was their quick way of being giving the information in summary form. Otherwise, the big books would be too long, by saying we don't know what it means, but we guess that it may mean something like this. Too many words, right? So if we read, for example, one of the earliest commentators on the Quran, Tabari, who did a massive compilation, he would just simply say, one opinion is this, and these are the people who said it. And then he would give a long chain of narrators, ending with this person said, and sometimes a one-word explanation, like this means this one word, for example. So I think we shouldn't take their statements as being definitive. We should read in all, it's alleged that, and our guess is that. We don't know, but we think it could mean this, and so on. So their guesses were like this. So one guess is that the heavens were, there are now 7 heavens, according to the Quran, but there were initially only one heaven, according to these commentators. That's what it means that they were together as one. And maybe it might be better if, for those who know the Arabic and want to hear the Arabic verse, أولم ير الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي أفلا يؤمنون. To translate that very quickly, don't the non-believers see that the heavens and the earth were together as one until we split them asunder, and we made every living thing out of water? Will they not then believe? So the two were together, ratkan, they were together as one. But the commentators say that each was one. So the heavens were one heaven, and then God split the one heaven into 7 heavens. Likewise, the earth was one earth, and then God split the earth into 7 earths. Of course, we're only familiar with our earth, but nowadays scientists speak about the possibility of being many earths out there, not necessarily 7. But in Arabic as well, 7 can mean not necessarily the number that is counted right after 6, but a number that indicates a plurality. Like
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So the Arabs use the number 7 like that. It's almost like if we say, I have
several
Yeah, we might say several.
Maybe several came from that word seven.
Possibly, I don't know. I haven't traced the etymology, but I was going to say, Safia, sometimes in English we say, I have 101 reasons for something.
That's true.
So we don't mean 101 as the number that comes after 100. We mean, so many that it's even exceeds 100, right? So 7 was used like this to mean several. In any case, today we can think about the heavens and the earth together as being one piece initially and being split asunder. Another way in which the commentators tried to explain this, because they had different guesses. Some commentators said this, some said the other thing. Some said that the heavens were closed off in that, rat can mean like it is so uniform, like, there is no opening in it. So they thought, okay, so the heavens were all like so closed off that no rains were coming. And the earth itself as well was so closed off that it was not giving rise to any vegetation. Of course, there was no need for it, according to these commentators, because human beings did not come on earth yet. But then God sent Adam and Eve down onto earth, and he opened up the heavens and he opened up the earth. So they were ratq, they were like sealed off, and then fafataknahuma, then we split them. So the heavens were split so the rains can come down, the earth was split so the vegetation could come up. So these are the humble offerings that they could give us with their pre-scientific understanding. They tried their best, but they could only do so much.
Yes, it was many, many hundreds of years ago.
Yes, exactly. 14,
right?
They, at least 1,000 years ago, when the first commentators appeared. So how do we read the Quran and how do we understand it today? Well, we have to benefit from all of these commentaries. That's our starting point in our education. But we need to also go back to the Quran itself and see what were the original wordings of the Quran. And this is what Dr. Maurice Bouquet did, as he describes in the introduction to his book, The Bible, the Quran, and Science. He said that I, was reading the translations of the Quran, and they were not making any sense, like scientifically, but I knew that there was more to it than this. And so he studied the Arabic language in order to see what was the original text saying. And then he could go back to the dictionaries and see what was the meaning of those words which were used in the Quran before the commentators made it what they made it into. And he could see that this Quran packs scientific knowledge which would not have been known to people in the 7th century when the Quran was first revealed. And we can see they were not known to the commentators. But when we understand the Quran from that point of view, looking at the original meanings of the words, we can see that they correspond to many a scientific discovery in our modern times. That helps us to have confidence that this is a revelation given from the Almighty God to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But we can see how the verses might have been partly understood, somewhat even misunderstood in the past, and we can rise above that by bringing together a whole new scientific understanding, together with the spiritual understanding, which of course is the main point.
But Dr. Shabir, of course, science changes, right? Our understanding of science. And how do we know that our understanding of the Quran is the right one, right? Because as you mentioned, the classical commentators did think that they had the right interpretation of this verse, right?
Yeah. So maybe a couple of points here. First, although science is forever changing, some theories become so well established scientifically that they're not expected to change. It seems very unlikely that some of these will change. And whereas with the commentators of the past, they were not working with a scientific understanding. So we are working with a scientific understanding, though we are open to the possibility of change. What they were starting with is not a scientific understanding. They were just guessing, right? The best guess they could give at the time. Secondly, if we are familiar with certain theories of science, we should not make the verses of the Quran mean what the scientists are saying. We can say that there is an interesting possibility here, there's an interesting coincidence, so that those who are interested in science would have a reason to be interested in the Quran, because look, there's this remarkable coincidence at the moment. And maybe a new meaning will unfold, like a new discovery will unfold in science, but also a new angle and a new meaning will unfold from the Quran itself, that for a new generation will be compatible with that new discovery in modern science. So God can reveal his book in such a way that it speaks to every generation. And in his way, he's calling people of every generation back to his original message by showing them signs and miracles and wonders, sometimes even the correspondence between the Quranic wording and the modern discoveries in science. So these are some of the...
Lots to think about.
These are some of the ways in which we can make sense of this whole...
All right. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Shabir.
Okay, you're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.